I came up with 4 signs it's time to end a project. And you'll notice that I said, "and not quit." Another reminder, the words you use frame the decisions that you make matter a lot. So, the first sign it's time to end a project is you no longer want or value the things you set out to get from it when you started. Goals change, everything evolves. Your life changes, your time changes. It's not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with saying, you know what? I've been put all this time and effort and work into this thing, but I don't even really want what's going to, even if this thing worked better, I don't even want that anymore.
Mm.
So why am I still doing it? Not a, so that's one thing, one big reason that you should end a project. The second reason or sign that it's time to end a project is it's a project you wouldn't start today if it didn't already exist.
Mm.
We get
That's
caught in
interesting.
stuff all the time. And it's would I like, and it's very easy for me to sort of look at certain things and go, if my newsletter didn't exist, would I start it and want to do it today? 1,000% yes. My podcast, which I recently cut back from weekly to twice a month. If I was starting today, would I start it weekly? Probably not. I might just at the beginning to get the sort of momentum going. But I think that's a great question, right? Are you just doing it because you've already been doing it for a while, or are you actually, is it something you want to do? And I think, Jeff Bezos famously at Amazon preaches the idea that every day is day one, right? So if you look at your thing and go, if this were day one, what would I be doing this? And this extends not just to projects, but just because I've worked with this type of client in the past doesn't mean I need to work with that type of client moving forward. If I didn't have that experience, if I didn't have the reference point of, oh, I've helped a bunch of these types of people, are those the clients I would go after today? You don't have to. Every day is day one. So the third sign it's time to end a project is if you struggle to answer this question, what level of success would this project have to have for me to want to keep doing it? So I think a lot of times we get hung up in the sort of forever what this thing could be and where it's going and, whatever, but we don't actually stop to take a step back and go, let's take a podcast, for example. If your podcast, let's say, is getting 1,000 downloads per episode, making this up, and you go, okay, I'm not sure I want to keep doing this. Would I want to keep doing it if next month I was getting 2,000 downloads an episode? Would I want to keep doing it if I was getting 5,000 downloads an episode? Would I want to keep doing it if it was getting 20,000 downloads an episode? And what's interesting is as you do that, your instincts will sort of show you, let's say it was getting 1,000 downloads and I said, oh, if this was getting 5,000 downloads an episode, I still wouldn't want to do it. You've just said that if you 5X the success, you still don't really want to do it. So maybe you really don't want to do it. Yes, there will be a point where you go, okay, at that number, I would probably want to do it. But what this tells you is even with significant progress, again, however you define success, it could be financial, it could be downloads, it could be whatever, it could be getting better guests, it could, whatever it is, right? It gives you some gauge of, I would want to do this if under these set of circumstances, which then allows you to sort of go, how realistic or close am I to those set of circumstances? And why would I want to do this if I got 100,000 downloads, but not if I got 5,000 downloads, right? And how it gives you a way to sort of judge that. If you have a hard time answering that question, if you have a hard time coming up with the success level at which you'd want to keep doing it, you probably just don't want to keep doing it. You probably just don't want to keep doing it. And it's time to end it. So the fourth and final sign it's time to end a project is you're not willing to wait at least 1 year for whatever that level of success is that would make you want to keep doing it. So in general, impatience is not a great thing. I'm a big believer in that you need to be patient and all success takes time. But sometimes impatience means more than just that you're impatient. Sometimes it means that you don't actually really want that thing. So let's say that, and that going back to that podcast example, you're currently getting 1,000 downloads a month or 1,000 downloads an episode and you say, you know what? If I got 10,000 downloads an episode, I would still want to be doing this. But if I said to you, okay, again, this hypothetical, you're going to get 10,000 downloads an episode, but you're not going to get them for a year. So you got to keep grinding and keep doing what you're doing for a year until you get to that point. Do you still want to do it? And I think, again, you may, but there also will be people who will be like, I don't know, another year. And I'm taking a year as a random example, but I think there would be people that would go, another year of grinding at this, like, I don't really want to do that, which again is sending you a signal that like, you don't really want to do this. And you can pick whatever interval you want. I think a year is a good one, but you could go depending where you're at. Realistically, if you think about what's it going to take me to go from 1,000 to 10,000 downloads, really, are you willing to wait 3 years to get to that level? Maybe you don't want to do it. So I think those four things, I think, are all signs that it might be time to end the project that you're working on.